Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am here to chat with you for a little bit. I have a few things I want to talk about, and let's just get started. The main thing is the fabric frenzy. I am sickened by this news, but after, I don't know, 9 or 10 days of going back and forth with PayPal and tech support, actually, I've been dealing with them ever since March 16, because that's the day that some of you helped out in my Peanut Gallery Facebook group. You know, we had a pretend sale and we discovered that the PayPal buttons were still not working. What happens is, even though I put a limit as to how many items I have within PayPal, the buttons allow me to oversell. They don't shut off, or if they do shut off, it's like after I've oversold, and then I have to refund people, and it's a hot mess. The first guy I spoke to at PayPal said that the buttons will not work for me. There's no way that they can keep up with people jumping on orders that quickly, like within a second. The first guy I spoke to, he said that there's no way that the PayPal buttons will ever be able to keep up with the sales the way I do them, because too many people are jumping on the button at once and placing orders or trying to order, and there's a delay, which I understand, that makes sense. So even though somebody orders, there's a delay, and PayPal hasn't caught up to that fact yet, and somebody else will also order. So that's what created the chaos. The thing is that I had 3 sales where that never happened. But it is possible that I had more people jumping on them at once, and I've also learned that it could have to do with how busy PayPal is at the moment. I don't know. I still think it's weird that I had 3 sales and I never had to refund anyone, and all of a sudden the 4th sale, none of the buttons worked, none of them. He's the one also who suggested that I do some testing. So I did all that. The second person I talked to after the testing, her name was Brienne, I don't remember the first guy's name, she said he should have never asked me to do the testing. That's not my job to do, which I agreed, and that the PayPal buttons are absolutely equipped to handle the kind of selling that I do, and that, pretty much she poo-pooed everything the first guy said. So she sent me over to tech support, and I've been dealing with them ever since. And the guy, at first was encouraging. He said it had nothing to do with the amount of orders that I get all at once, that there's something on the back end, that they will look into it. And they looked into it, and then while I was in Memphis last week, he said, we think we've fixed it, and please do some more testing. And I was like, wait a minute, what? He doesn't realize how much work that is for me to do more testing, plus I have to gather more people again. And the testing part sucked, because even when I was processing refunds, some of the people who were kind enough to help me do the testing had to wait for those refunds like 5 days. Now, yes, we're talking 75 cents, $1, but it was still a big pain in the ass. And I went back and forth with him for maybe 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days, saying, I don't want to do the testing. It's not up to me. And I would be like, you're asking too much from me and from my audience. And he's like, you don't need an audience to do testing, just gather some friends. I mean, he just was relentless. And I finally even said, if you want me to do testing, I'll set up the buttons, but you're going to have a PayPal crew ready to do the pretend ordering, because I am not asking people to do that again. I'm just not. And he just would not quit. And I finally told him, if I'm going to do testing, you need to put me on the payroll, because I don't work for fucking PayPal. And then I also asked, tell me what you have done for testing, because if he was able to tell me, we set up a few buttons and we had 30 people order all at once and it went through fine. But no, he writes back and says, we can't disclose the type of testing that we've done. So I finally said, look, I've disclosed everything repeatedly to you, yet you keep telling me that it's my job to do testing. So I asked for a supervisor, and that supervisor came on board and said she could confirm that there was a fix, but that now there's another issue. So that means there was no fix. And then she ends with just, we have no estimated time for this to be fixed, and sorry for the inconvenience. And I've never heard from her since. I have emailed her back repeatedly, and I was still trying to get the fees for all the refunds that I processed because I felt they owed me that because it was clear that the buttons were broken. Tech support so much as said so, and she would not reply to anything else. So yesterday I called to complain about tech support, and the guy that I got yesterday, he's been with PayPal for 10 years, and he said that there is no way the buttons are ever going to work for me. He is like on board with what the first guy said, and it's kind of what makes the most sense to me because I understand delays and it just can't keep up with the orders all coming in, but I'm still confused as to why the first 3 sales went through without one single refund process. There was never anything oversold. It is possible that I had more people involved at this time, but there was a lot of people involved in the other ones too. And I can see by the invoices that even then there were 3-4 people that all ordered within 1 second. So, because their times are there, but I don't know. So the bottom line is I'm petrified to do it again. He said if I did it, it could be a fluke and it could work, or it could be, another disaster. And I can't take that chance. I just can't. And then I asked him about the refunds, and he looked into my file and he said, I see that this has been brought up to a supervisor, and her note was, leave it up to your discretion, meaning whoever I spoke to again, nobody contacted me and said we would like to refund you for those fees. It was only $16.50, but it was still $16.50 that I don't have to be out of pocket. I shouldn't be out of pocket $16.50. So she left a note saying, leave it up to their discretion. It could have said, absolutely refund this person because the PayPal buttons broke. And it's not because the PayPal buttons broke. It's because the PayPal buttons have been the same that they've always been. Just, I guess, nobody's done a sale the way I did. Now, I'm sure there are companies out there who will put something up and get a whole bunch of orders, but they probably have more inventory. They're probably not having 30 people jump on something if I have 3 of them. So that's where the problem is. So he refunded my fees, and I was very glad about that. But it was just very discouraging. And the part that bothered me the most out of all this was the fact that tech support dropped the ball and would not even reply to my questions, from the supervisor, like, are you dropping the ball? I asked her, does this mean you're never contacting me again about this? Or are you going to let me know when it's fixed? It's because there's no fix. So the guy that I talked to yesterday said in 10 years, he has never known them to change the way the PayPal button works. And he even went through 2 years worth of file. We were on the phone a long time. 2 years worth of notes from the tech team. And he said there's not one mention there of anything being wrong with the PayPal buttons or any fixes in the process. So I think it was all fucking bullshit. I really do. So here's the thing. After I was like sickened for a little while, I think I am going to try doing a fabric funzie because I don't think it will be a frenzy anymore on eBay. Now, so many of you have told me, oh, just do it in the Facebook group like the others do. First of all, I don't want to be bothered with comments on. Yes, if I put a link right there in Facebook and say, this is what I have available, and, that everybody has to leave a comment saying sold or whatever. I do not want to be in charge of manually sending out invoices myself. The last sale I had, there was 269 invoices. That's just invoices. Some of those invoices were multiple orders. So I can't be doing that. I just can't. I can't possibly handle all that work. Now, granted, I could absolutely do a much tinier sale, and the next one will be small because we just have to test out the new way we're going to be doing this. But I still don't want to do that. And then you know what the other thing is? There's always a problem. Somebody can say, oh, I'm buying this, sold, and hang on. I was absolutely sure I would not forget where I left off. But after the phone call, I completely forgot where I left off. So I had to upload and watch a little bit of the end of the video to remember where I was. And I noticed my hair is very flippy. Whatever. Yes, so back to selling on Facebook like that. I've been selling online for 18 years, and I know for a fact that 10 people could say, I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying, and 9 of those people could all of a sudden say, after I send their invoice, oh, do you mind if I wait until Monday because my husband has to get paid? And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The person would have to pay immediately upon getting that invoice, or I would sell to the next person, and it's just a big hassle, and I don't want to be involved in that at all. I don't want to hear all the reasons why somebody can't pay right now, and can I please hold it for them? Not happening, not at all. So that is completely out of the question. Then I have a lot of you like, oh, Etsy. I've tried Etsy. I did not like Etsy. I'm not going back to Etsy. My online sales platform that I'm the most used to is eBay. I've been with them since the year 2000, so 18 years there too. That's what I'm sticking with. And I don't want traditional sales. I don't want to just put this stuff on my website and let it sit there and let people order. I find that that doesn't work for me because I don't like shipping things. I don't like the shipping process. And if I get an order on some odd day, I have to stop everything and deal with that order. The way I do it, I get everything sold in one day. I have 5 days of hell getting everything ready for the shipping, and then it's over for 6 more weeks. So even if I do this on eBay, it will be in one day, and I will still be spitting the links out throughout the day because that's the fun part for me. I like that it takes all day to do and that people are hanging out with me all day doing it. I don't like people to see everything that I have because then the urgency isn't there. You know, I'm talking as a seller here. I kind of know what works, and at least what works for me. And so I would want to continue doing it that way. The other downside of eBay, though, is that everybody can see how many I have. So I'm thinking that if I have 20 of something, I might only put 3 of them. And again, urgency, and I like it being mysterious that you guys won't know. Maybe I'll put 3 more of those up that same day. I need to keep it being mysterious, and you know, I need to keep that frenzy mindset going. And then after that day, just like on my Facebook group, I might leave those things until the next day, but once I'm ready to start packaging, because I have to do all the sorting first, once I start packaging, whatever's left on eBay would come down. They're not sitting there because I don't want to sell after the fact. And if I have leftovers, they would just go to the next sale. So that's the plan. Does it suck? I think it sucks. But who knows? Maybe something better will come out of this. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm certainly willing to give it a try. I hope some of you will still hang out with me through that. It will be small. It will be a much smaller scale because I haven't really been working on it because my heart was not into it. But I do have some things ready, and I can get a few more things ready. It will be good to keep this one small. We'll test the waters, see if we like it this way, see if it works, and still keep it as mysterious as possible. And the other thing is that I'd have to keep it under 100 items, or I have to start paying a listing fee. Doesn't make sense for me to sell something for $2.40 with free shipping, and I'm also paying a 50-cent or whatever it is, 30-cent listing fee on top of that. I would have to end up changing the things I sell, but I really like selling the small little sets like that. You guys seemed to like that, but again, it just doesn't make sense. I'd have to keep it under 100 items per month, or I, would have to sell enough big things to make it worth the listing fees, not to mention that they also take 10%. So things will have to change a little bit, but I'm doing the best that I can. I just can't trust PayPal. I just can't go through that again. What I went through was awful. And the work, the mental anguish, and the refunding people. Refunding felt horrible. I know everyone understood that day, but how long do you think that's going to last? How many people are going to want to hang out with me all day to order things, not even knowing if they're really going to get them? That's not going to fly for long. I appreciate that everybody put up with it that day. I really do. But it can't happen again. All right, so that was Frenzy Talk. We'll talk about it again as it gets closer. But I am still going to aim for April 14. And maybe if it's smaller scale, maybe we can do it once a month instead of every 6 weeks. The shipping won't be as much for me, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, the new series that I'm going to start for YouTube updates, similar to my YouTube earnings, similar but different. I will still probably give stats for that main channel, but I want to focus a little bit more on getting a channel monetized because there are new requirements, such as you need 4,000 hours of watch time in a year and 1,000 subscribers. So I will be touching on that, showing you guys what certain stats look like inside that, using my ASMR channel as an example, because that one is not monetized. And I also want to touch on Patreon and explain to content creators how Patreon could help them. And I know there are people that are curious about it, and I'll be able to explain some things, and I'll share the good and the bad. There are some things about Patreon that I'm not happy about the way it's handled, and it's a very messy site. I don't know why they don't do a better job at that, but for the most part, I'm very happy with Patreon. So I will talk about that and show you guys the inside of Patreon also. Speaking of Patreon, I have some fun series going on over there, and I'm reviving the whole dating site thing. I know some of you are upset that I'm not doing that on my main channel, but please remember that I can't put all my eggs in one basket. I started Patreon back in October, and it was in January that I found out that YouTube was changing the requirements. Now, I have several YouTube channels, and some of them are just, earning passive income that I've not uploaded to in a very long time. They lost monetization because there's not enough watch time. Some of them don't even have enough subscribers. For instance, my ASMR channel, that was started 3 years ago. It was monetized, and I was earning a passive income with that. But because I had Patreon, when I found out in January, which is when I revived that ASMR channel, in January I found out, oh, I'm losing monetization. But I had Patreon on my side, and I was able to explain to my patrons that my ASMR channel is not monetized, and it might not be for months. It's still not as of yet. So I was able to let my patrons know, if any of you are into ASMR and you'd like to be a $5 a month pledger, you can get early access. Now, they don't have to pledge anything to watch my ASMR videos, but any of them who pledge $5 or more per month have early access to my videos. And I will highly consider doing any certain kinds of sounds that they personally like for ASMR. So I had Patreon, and that helped. It's just another whole avenue. It's another whole platform, and it doesn't have to be that you are creating videos. There are many, many people on Patreon who are supported for whatever they do. It could be music they play or artwork, and there are people kicking butt on Patreon. So I'd like to share that with everybody and let you guys see how it all works. I think that would be a good thing. As for my Patreon videos, I provide exclusive videos for patrons. Not all content creators do that. There are plenty of people out there who have videos on YouTube, and they just let their subscribers know, if you'd like to support my channel, you can do that on Patreon, and they don't offer anything in addition to. But I did, because I was starting to get a lot of shit for the things on my channel, and it was just tiresome, and I thought, hey, why don't I just do some exclusive stuff that I enjoy doing that brings on a lot of hate that I don't need to be dealing with? Why don't I do that over on Patreon? And that's why I've moved a lot of my personal stuff there and a lot of my funnier stuff, because I can swear to my heart's content over there. Nobody cares. They're there for that reason, as a matter of fact. So they enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I am not earning anything on those videos other than the support that the Patreons show me, and that is awesome. And it's a lot of work what I do over on Patreon. And sometimes I get 30 views, even though I have over 300 patrons. Not everybody is watching. Some people just support me because they like to support me and they're watching everything or whatever. I don't know what the reasons are. I don't ask. I don't question it. I'm just happy with the way things are going. But you have to know that it's important for me, obviously, to take a video that I know I could probably earn a nice chunk with on YouTube, but take that off of YouTube and leave those earnings behind and put it someplace where I feel more safe, even though I know only a few people are going to be watching. I work just as hard on those videos as I do the videos that I'm hoping will get, multiple thousands of views on YouTube. I know by spending an hour recording, because a lot of times my videos are an hour, like this one is going to be, but I chop it up into something reasonable. But I do the same thing on Patreon, just knowing that I'm not earning anything. And sometimes the pledges don't go up. But it's so important for me to have that freedom. I don't think you realize how good it feels to have the freedom to be on a platform where people are there because they absolutely want to be there. And if they don't want to be there, they don't have to be. But they're not going to sit there and put me down while they continue watching. They can't do that, because if they knock me down inside Patreon, they get the boot. So they know it's like they have the choice. They can watch and be nice, or they can leave and not have access to those videos anymore. I just love it. I just love that. So you can always go check me out on Patreon. I'm starting to do the dating series again. I think I mentioned that, and I'm kind of having fun with it. I think that I'm actually at a good place where I would like to meet someone for friendship, at least, or even just chatting on the phone, just another human being in my life. But I have no interest in talking about that on YouTube like I did before, because the backlash I got on a lot of that, and just the stupidity of people telling me, be safe, don't go to their house. I mean, I'm not a fucking 10-year-old. I think I know how to be safe. I had to have a lot of walls around me as an alcoholic because I was in a lot of dangerous situations, but I got through that. I can get through this. I am not going to get myself in any kind of trouble, but it's just, I want to avoid all of that. I have a headache just thinking of it. When I upload videos here on YouTube, it's like I have such a headache just thinking of the comments that I have to deal with. It's just, you guys know that. You guys know that about me. You don't need to tell me, well, if I don't like comments, I shouldn't be on YouTube. I have the right to be anywhere that I want to be. Doesn't mean I have to accept what is out there. I am trying to run things my way, and that's all I can do. And I know it pisses some people off, and there's nothing I can do about that. I can't, and I'm not even going to concern myself with it. So is there anything else as I'm pissing people off right now? No, I think that covers it. My ASMR channel is almost at 700 subscribers. Very excited about that. If you like ASMR, please go subscribe. If you don't know what it is, please go look it up. There's a thing called Google that will tell you. It'll answer you a whole lot quicker than if you leave me a comment asking me what ASMR is. I would like to have some other kind of video for you tonight. I really would. And that's my goal, but I don't know if I'll actually be able to do that or not. I do want to also record something for ASMR. So I'm a busy girl, always busy. So far today I talked to my patrons, gave them a little dating site update, and I'm talking to you guys, and all is good. We will get through this whole PayPal bullshit, and fabric sales will still take place, not in the form of the frenzy that you've come to know and love, and that I've come to know and love, but I think I'm past the sad part, and I'm getting excited about it again. So something good is on the way. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.